Okay, so I did some research and forget everything you know. This is Matthew Mercer. Many believe him to be the best DM in the world, and many new DMs today look to him to improve their own skills at the table. And this entire video is about Matthew Mercer. Don't believe the chapters, don't even look at the timestamps. All you need to do to make everyone at your table have fun is do exactly what Matthew Mercer does. First off, Matt narrates like a novel. Imagine every fantasy book ever. That's how Matt describes scenes. It's a super easy and descriptive way of setting the scene and conveying information, as well as setting tone and mood.
The runes along it begin to glow and flicker as the spiral of the twisting wood continues up, and as it does, you watch the opaqueness of the crystal begin to go clear, but it brightens as it does.
If you want to narrate in a similar fashion, all you have to do is read a lot of books, look how they're written, how they're narrated, and then just practice conveying information in a similar way. And before I continue, thanks to Obvious Mimic for sponsoring this video. You can get their incredibly successful 5e adventure, The Wolves of Langston, right now. It's a solo adventure, so perfect for anyone who wants to play more D&D but can't get a full group together as much as they'd like. Or if you just want to play around, trying new characters outside of your normal game, this is perfect for it. They also have its spiritual successor up on Kickstarter right now, The Crystals of Zileth, a solo adventure where you take your own path through an interactive original story designed to replicate tabletop play, fight monsters, cast spells, and find treasure. All the links are in the description. Secondly, Matt leads with his world first, meaning during his prep time, he dives deep into how locations and its people work. He goes into detail about the infrastructure, the economy, and society of every village, town, and city, and how all those villages, towns, and cities are connected to each other. Then he gives his players unprecedented freedom to move around the entire planet, whether that be by airship, through portals in trees, or most recently through a magic teleportation staff. His players can go anywhere, easily. A good way to help develop your own world in this way, if you don't have a massive budget like Matt does, is to also do what Matt does in the way that he sets every campaign in the same setting. It's the same world. That way you have a backlog of places that people have been to before, that you've developed before, to draw from. And if you play with mostly the same players every campaign, they all have a really good understanding of the world already too. And the third thing Matt does is give a lot of agency to his players. Because he's developed such a well thought out world that he brings to life with such vivid narration, he can sit back and just let his players play in the sandbox. He can let his players know where they are in his world, give his players numerous ways to move around the world freely, then, throw plot points and objectives at them, sure, but fundamentally, he gives the steering wheel to his players and lets them drive. This is pretty much why Matt is the only DM to listen to if you want to get better at D&D.
What about Brennan Lee Mulligan?
Huh? Who? Brennan Lee Mulligan?
He's one of the best DMs in the world.
Oh, okay. I did some more research and forget everything you know. This is Brennan Lee Mulligan, who many believe to be the best DM in the world. And this entire video is now about Brennan Lee Mulligan. Don't believe the chapters, don't even look at the timestamps, because all you need to do to make sure everyone at your table is having fun is do exactly what Brennan Lee Mulligan does. First off, Brennan narrates in a very interesting way and swings from very conversational to poetic. By this I mean he will narrate in one moment as if just chatting to you. This happens and then this happens.
There's like some barns and some sort of like small fields and meadows as well.
But in important moments where he wants to pull the players in, he'll switch to these beautiful prose.
A magical flower, shining light as though it was the noonday sun itself.
Now, Brennan is just built differently, I think. But if you did want to get better at this style of narrating, you need to know it's all about the important character moments or important story moments. Put more effort into narrating those in a beautiful way, and then for the rest of it, talk casually. It's less pretentious for one, and for two, it means that you can save those moments of real creativity for when you really need them. Because if you narrate your whole game like it's Beowulf, you're gonna burn out. So keep it for when you want the biggest impact. Secondly, Brennan leads with story first, meaning during his prep time, he dives deep into what he wants to do with the plot. What themes does he want to explore? How does he want his players to feel? He concentrates on that more than anything else. And he ends up having these amazingly impactful, immersive sessions because his players and viewers just want to know what happens next. And you can do this just by planning out out a couple of sessions well in advance. Where would you like the story to go? And then gently push the story in that direction. And the third thing Brennan does is murder his darlings. I don't mean he murders his players' characters, though he has done that. I mean he will cut and change his plans. So he does plan a couple of sessions ahead like we talked about, but he's also willing to change his plans on the fly, depending on what direction his players choose to go in. And you have to be okay with murdering your darlings too. If you had this super cool story planned, or these super awesome moments that you spent a lot of time thinking about and they're your darlings, you really want them to happen, but your players just decide to go down a different track, or it's just not right for you to put them in the story yet, then you've got to cut them, you've got to murder them. Try to salvage and repurpose your plans and try and tell a story with your players. And it's this focus on story while still being incredibly flexible that makes Brennan the only DM you need to focus on if you want to.
There's also Aabria Iyengar.
Oh crap, I didn't think of Aabria. Okay, forget everything you know and quickly subscribe. Maybe join my Patreon, because this is Aabria Iyengar, who many believe to be the best DM in the world. First off, Aabria narrates like a movie.
On that shake, the camera sort of pushes through the window. The skies have gotten much darker and the rain falls heavier.
And I've mentioned this before in another video, but a lot of people wanted like examples of how you actually do it. And I realized it was something quite obvious to me because I have a film and TV background, but for most people it can be kind of difficult to wrap your head around. But like Matthew Mercer's narrating like a novel, narrating like a movie just takes practice. Next time you watch TV or a movie, just pay attention to what the camera is doing, how it zooms in on important things, how it sweeps across a cityscape to set the environment, or my favourite, how it transitions from scene to scene. Stranger Things is amazing at this. It's all just about thinking very visually and as if you were directing the D&D game through the lens of a camera. And it's important here to, like Brennan's narration style, only save it for important moments. It would get way too much if you were constantly talking in movie terms. So only do it when you want to draw attention to something in particular or for these big moments. Aabria does not use that cinematic language all the time. In fact, she rarely does. It's just when she needs to convey information in a very visual way, even though she's still just talking and it's verbal. Secondly, Aabria leads with putting her players first, meaning during her prep time, she dives deep into what will bring her players the most joy. You see this from the way she decorates her play space, so the way she gives her players gifts, the way she lets the players break the rules of the game sometimes for really cool moments. A great example of this kind of play is in the Critical Role Exandria Unlimited campaign, where Aabria held a pageant. It was a really fun idea, but some of the players had characters who would just never take part in this event. It just wouldn't make sense for them to. So to get around having only half the table join the pageant and the other half just doing nothing, Aabria gave the players who would be sitting out temporary pre-made character sheets, so everyone could participate. Like, what a lovely thought.
I don't want to leave anybody out.
And you can put your players first too. All you need to do is during your prep time, think what would bring the most joy to my players and then build from there. And it's this focus on players that makes Aabria only DM you need to focus on if you want to. Okay, wait, forget everything you know, because it's you. You are the best DM in the world. Well, I mean, probably not, but you're certainly the best DM at your table on game night when you're DMing. And you could and definitely should take inspiration and learn from these world famous DMs. But every player is different, every table is different, and every DM is different. There's no one size that fits all. You should DM in a style that you enjoy and that your players enjoy, because that's really what Matt, Brennan, and Aabria are doing. They don't DM like they do because it's scientifically proven to be the best way to DM. They do it because it's the best and most efficient way for them as individuals to DM. They experimented and they tested, and this is what they stumbled onto that works best for them and their tables. And that's the real lesson that can be learned from them. Be creative, be willing to try new things, then do what you and your players enjoy the most. So by all means, take some of the strategies and tactics that the DMs use in this video and try them out for yourself, but don't treat them like gospel.
What about combat?
Huh? Combat? Oh yeah, actually, forget everything you know, because there are some legitimate tips and tricks that you can learn from some of the world's most beloved DMs in combat in D&D, and it's all in this video here, so make sure you watch that next.